Yes, you. Welcome to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast, a podcast for people who want to disrupt their lives for a good reason, to make it count. I'm your host, Jen Glantz, and every week I'll drop a new episode with stories from real people just like you, who woke up one morning and decided to make big changes, starting with small things. We'll cover topics like entrepreneurship, love, failure, and self-care. Hey, you're not getting any younger, so let's make this an adventure. Ready? Today's episode is brought to you by Always a Bridesmaid for Hire, a book by yours truly, Jen Glantz. People always want to know, Jen, what is it like to be a hired bridesmaid for strangers? And look, I've been doing this for the past 5 years. I'm the world's first and only person to do this. And after a while, I had so many crazy stories to share that I decided to write a book called Always a Bridesmaid for Hire, where you can learn about what it's like to start this weird, funky business, walk down the aisle for strangers as their bridesmaid, and also about my own personal quest for love during it all. You can find the book right now on Amazon, Always a Bridesmaid for Hire. The paperback version is called When You Least Expect It. Yes, same book, different title. That's show business, baby. Hey, any youngers, it's me, your host, Jen Glantz, back with another episode of the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. I'm here wishing you a very early happy Thanksgiving. I know that this year has been a whole lot of blah and many other words to describe 2020, and you might be sitting here thinking about, I don't even know what I am possibly thankful for in this year of the pandemic and the craziness and the uncertainty and just everything going the wrong direction. But I challenge you within this episode and within your life to start now, start a little bit earlier than Thanksgiving, to start to break down what the heck you can be thankful for and what you can do about it. I'm a big believer in not only having thoughts, having goals, having decisions, but taking action on those things. So my goal for you during this episode is to think about the 3 biggest things or people you're grateful for and decide how you can take action to thank them, to show gratitude, to just put something good out in the universe so that November 2020 is remembered for a whole lot of good and not a whole lot of anything else. So what I challenge you to think about are the following 3 categories. Who has been that rock solid support system for you in 2020? Who has been the person who answered your texts, who answered your calls, who sat there on Zoom with you and just helped you get through some crazy stuff this year? Who has been that person that you really feel is your sidekick in life? Now, I'm going to say this. Some of you might be like, you know what, Jen? People disappointed me this year. I don't have anybody for category 1. So maybe you're that person, and that's okay too. You know, a lot of times when I work with people and I ask them, okay, you know, who are you grateful for in your life? Sometimes they don't have anyone to share, and that's okay. So if you are that person, that is fine, but I want you to think about who has been there for you in your life this year that you just want to say thank you to. So maybe that's one person, maybe it's just you, maybe it's a list of 5, but I want you to write those names down. Go ahead, do it right now. Pause this episode and write those names on a sheet of paper. Write them on a napkin, write them in your phone, write those names down. Now for category 1, I want you to think about what is something that you could do to say thank you to them. Now, you can do something really awesome like send them a piece of snail mail, thanking them in a card. You can do something awesome like sending them a $5, $10, whatever dollar gift card to a coffee place they adore or a store that they really like. You could also just think about something that would make their life easier and offer to help them with that or do that for them. But next to these names on that list, I want you to write down something you can do to show them how much gratitude you have for them. And why I'm pushing this so hard is because everyone really had a tough year this year. And one of the things that can bring us joy during this end of 2020 is just by having people in our lives light that spark within us to keep feeling powerful and purposeful as we enter a new year. And you could be that person who does that for that person who was there for you. But let's say you wrote down your own name, which again is fine, no judgment at all. What is something nice you can do for yourself to show your own self support and gratitude? I challenge you to think about that. Next, I want you to think about the what in your life. What has been there for you during this year that you're thankful for? And by what, I don't want you to think about a person. I almost want you to think about a thing. Maybe it's a hobby. Maybe it's something that you just cherished so much this year, and I want you to think about something positive. I don't want to hear that it was Netflix that got you through 2020. I don't want to hear that it was lounging around doing nothing that got you through 2020. I want you to think about it. Was it a set of books that just really helped you take your mind off of things? Was it a podcast you listened to? Was it a hobby you took up? Was it going and taking a course? What was something that pushed you this year in a good direction, even when things maybe weren't going so well? And I want you to think about what you can do to show gratitude to those things. And if it's a book, maybe think about passing that book on to somebody else. Maybe think about emailing the author. The same thing with a podcast. If it was a podcast, maybe send it to a friend or email the host and just thank them. But I want you to show gratitude for that thing. It could even be that you took a course and you really got a lot out of that course, and now you share that course with other people. Or again, you email the person who made the course and you just say thank you. And why I want you to do this is just going through the motion of expressing gratitude for your what will be something that grounds you, will make you feel and just enjoy life as it is right now, and look back on this year and remember that what. And the final part of this is I want you to think about yourself. And I want you to think about as many things as you are grateful for in the year of 2020. I want you to write them down. Try to get to 20. It could be things like your health. It could be things like you were able to pay for groceries every single week. It could be things that you kept your job. It could be anything that you are grateful for. And I know some of you are going to come to me and say, you know what, Jen, I have 2 things on my list. I can't get to 20, but I want you to dig deep. What are the things that you were the most thankful and grateful for? And now this is a list that I don't want you to take action on. I just want you to do and carry around with you, because sometimes, especially during the holidays, we feel many different feelings, many different emotions, and some of them are not so great. But keeping this 2020 gratitude list with you, and maybe even making this a tradition for how you approach years to come, will allow you to close out this year feeling a little bit positive, but also being able to just see the beauty inside of a very big, chaotic mess of a year. So I want you to make this list, get to 20. What are the 20 things that you are grateful for? It doesn't matter if they're big or small or people wouldn't even understand them. This is for you to have and to hold and to keep and to look at. So that's my challenge for you as we get closer and we inch closer to Thanksgiving. And no matter how you're spending your Thanksgiving, whether it's filled with family or you are solo by yourself, which, by the way, I started this whole podcast idea Thanksgiving many years ago when I felt so lonely and depressed and in a really tough, bad place. This is how I started the show. So if you're finding yourself not having a great Thanksgiving this year, these are some practices that can just make you feel a little bit better. You know, they're not going to change everything for you. I get that. I'm real about that, but they will make you feel better. I promise you that. So to recap, category 1, who? Who are those people who were there for you this week and this year, and how can you show them gratitude? Category 2 is the what. What were the things that kept you going in a positive way, and how can you express gratitude for that? And part 3 is making your gratitude list of 2020. What were you grateful and thankful for? I'm here for you, my friends, especially during the dark, crazy holiday time. So I beg you, reach out, say hello. You can find me. I'm on my email constantly, even during the holidays, if not more during the holidays, because I get lonely. You can reach me, jenglantz@gmail.com. Say hello, send me an email. You can also send me a DM on Instagram @jenglantz. And as always, come hang out with us in the Secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group. There's over 1,500 people in there who will be able to just give you some comfort and advice and help along the way throughout life now and in the future. So if we don't talk before Thanksgiving, and we might not unless you subscribe to the emails I send out, or you follow me on social, or you do send me that email, I'm wishing you a solid Thanksgiving, one where at least you know that you understand yourself, your life, and what you are the most thankful for. I myself am thankful for you. This has been a weird year for me as well, and I do believe that a big part of what kept me going constantly was the support and the love and just having you as a listener. It means so much to me. As I mentioned, I started this podcast on a Thanksgiving when I was having one of the toughest holidays of my entire life for very personal reasons. And I only decided to start this community as a place to help other people see that when they're down, when they're low, when they're stuck, when they're not feeling like themselves, well, they're certainly not alone. And there is a way up and out. Even though it can be really tough to see and feel, especially some years like this year, there is always a way up and out. So I'm here for you. And until next time, all my love, Jen Glantz. Hey you! Thank you for listening to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. There are hundreds of thousands of pods out there, so thank you for listening to this one. You can find the show notes for this week's episode up on our website, anyyounger.com. Subscribe, rate, and review the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast on iTunes so that other ears around the world can listen too. Oh, and join our secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group, where over 1,000 people are talking about how to disrupt their lives, for a good reason, to make it count. Until next week, all my love, Jen Glantz.